Mike Tyson is famous for his vicious and terrifying boxing style and his controversial behavior, both inside and outside the ring. Some refer to him as Iron Mike, while others describe him as the baddest man on earth. So today, we'll go into the details to find out what really happened to Mike Tyson. Make sure to watch till the end, because we have a surprising fact about Mike Tyson we bet you didn't know. Before we dig into the details, let's first explore who he really is. Mike Tyson was born on June 30th, 1966. He is a retired professional boxer who remained in business from 1985 to 2005. Tyson is considered one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. He reigned as the undisputed world heavyweight champion from 1987 to 1990. Tyson won his first 19 professional fights by knockout, 12 of them in the first round. Claiming his first belt at 20 years, 4 months and 22 days old, Tyson holds the record as the youngest boxer ever to win a heavyweight title. In addition, he was the first heavyweight boxer to simultaneously hold the WBA, WBC and IBF titles, and the only heavyweight champion to unify them in succession. He attracts fame like a flame attracts a moth. He is famed for knocking opponents out during fights and not being knocked out himself, which he frequently did. But even when he got TKO'd or KO'd, he'd keep things interesting. First and foremost, when the boxing world discovered Mike Tyson, he took it by storm. Tyson was 19-0 when he first began boxing professionally, and he knocked them all out, 12 in the first round. Even after unifying the championship, he knocked out undefeated heavyweight champion Michael Spinks in the first round in 91 seconds. Boxing fans admire a fighter who knocks out practically everyone he encounters. Mike Tyson was such a fighter for a long time. Furthermore, his physical intimidation was part of his reputation and a component of his boxing offense. Furthermore, he was the world's youngest heavyweight champion, renowned for his efforts inside and outside the ring. His abusive relationship and marriage with model and actress Robin Givens, appointing Don King, a controversial promoter, as his manager, and his prosecution and conviction for rape while appearing in a college black beauty contest, a crime he still denies committing. These are all the things that made him the center of attention. He was imprisoned for just under 3 years for it and had other run-ins with the law as well, one of which put him in jail for a few months. The American public is captivated by a figure that generates so much controversy. Mike Tyson was drunk and high on drugs when he first met the stars of The Hangover and went on to star in the film. He informed the media that he looked like a pig throughout filming and had no idea he would be in the comedy classic. However, after meeting Zach Galifianakis and other co-stars on a night out, Tyson was informed about his Hollywood cameo and was on set the next day. He told Tony Robbins, "I met the guys in a club. They were in the VIP section and I said, 'This is where I normally sit. Nobody's normally here.' So I walked in there and watched these men to see what they were doing in my section. The other person, Zach, said, 'We're going to be in a movie with you.' I answered, 'Yeah? When?' And he responded, 'Tomorrow,'" Tyson remembered. "And I didn't know because I was drinking, smoking, and taking drugs at the time. So I had no idea I was in the movie. So I had to do the movie anyway, and it was a success." Mike Tyson's net worth plummeted as he spent his money on luxuries. He not only purchased large, costly residencies and other accommodations worldwide, but he also purchased exotic vehicles. He also had a pet tiger that cost him $71,000. The celebrity reportedly paid $60,000 for each of his 3 Bengal tigers. With an additional $70,000 spent on fitness and diet, he also had to employ an animal trainer, which cost him an additional $125,000. Mike Tyson earned almost $700 million from his boxing matches alone. Still, he utilized the money to move forward in his career. He spent a significant portion of it on boxing training, lodging, and other expenses. Nonetheless, his highest net worth is believed to be more than $300 million. Mike Tyson reportedly spent $2.2 million on a gold bathtub, exotic pigeons, homes, and jewels, valued at roughly $5 million. A terrifying and vicious fighter in his heyday, he experienced significant financial problems due to reckless spending and finally declared bankruptcy in 2003. Tyson's net worth is estimated to be $3 million as of 2021. It could have been a lot more than that if he hadn't wasted his money at the start. Mike has been troubled by the number of controversies he creates, most of which are based on abuse and violence. A recent video of the former boxer has been circulating on the internet. We can see a man punched in the face by Iron Mike. This video was captured on an airplane flying from San Francisco to Florida. The man being beaten was a fellow passenger and is reported to have been harassing Mike over and over. The passenger was repeatedly seen bending over and trying to speak to Tyson, apparently antagonizing him. Tyson ultimately stood up, reached over his seat, and punched the other passenger many times. According to the story, a person close to Tyson stated that the passenger was extremely drunk. In the past, the life of our Iron Mike has been plagued by violent controversies. Tyson was convicted in 1992 of raping Desiree Washington, an 18-year-old college girl, in an Indianapolis hotel room. He was sentenced to 6 years in jail, but was freed after only 3 years. He still claims innocence. Robin Givens, Tyson's first wife, gave an explosive interview in 1989 outlining his domestic violence and confessing that she was terrified of her husband. Givens, who divorced Tyson later, described their 3-month marriage as torture, pure hell, worse than anything she could imagine. Tyson's worst moment in the ring happened shortly after his release from prison. In a rematch, Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear, which had stopped Tyson in their first title fight a year previously, and was eventually disqualified, fined, and suspended. In his book, Undisputed Truth, Tyson admits to struggling with substance abuse and addiction during his early years and career. He went so far as to call himself a full-blown cokehead who tricked his way past drug tests, often competing while still high on cocaine. The death of a close relative or even a blood relative brings a lot of changes to a person's life. Unfortunately, Mike Tyson has a bad past. He lost so many close relatives, affecting his mental health to the point that he became a patient with bipolar disorder. Mike resided in Bedford-Stuyvesant with his mother until their financial difficulties forced them to relocate to Brownsville when Tyson was 10 years old. 6 years later, Tyson's mother died, leaving the 16-year-old Tyson in the care of boxing manager and trainer Cus D'Amato, who would become his legal guardian. Later, Tyson stated, "I never saw my mother pleased or proud of me for achieving something. She knew me as a wild kid wandering the streets and returning home with new clothing she knew I didn't pay for. I never met or learned anything about her. It has no professional effect, but it is emotionally and personally devastating." Then, in November 1985, D'Amato, his professional coach and guardian father, left the world, leaving Mike in a void. Tyson was 11-0 as a professional when D'Amato died. "I miss him so much," Tyson remarked a year after D'Amato died. "For many years, we tried and worked over things. He was my backbone. Everything we worked on is starting to come together nicely. He'd be overjoyed if he could simply see it." Despite his boxing accomplishments, Tyson remained lonely. He established a name for himself, but had no one to share it with. Mike Tyson's 4-year-old daughter Exodus died in a tragic and regrettable accident. Exodus Tyson was discovered at their house in Phoenix, Arizona by her then 7-year-old brother with a treadmill machine cable looped around her neck. The young boy informed his mother, who attempted CPR on Exodus and dialed 911. She was promptly rushed to the hospital and placed on life support, but she finally died, leaving Mike in grief. Mike became a so-called cokehead as a result of her death. Enough with the sad vibes now. Let's discuss what Mike is doing these days. Mike Tyson is now focusing on his entrepreneurial ventures, including his podcast. Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson has recently seen many celebrity guests, and Iron Mike's podcast has received positive reviews and great reception. UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov is one of the prominent people invited to the podcast. Kudos to you guys who went through the whole video. Now it's time for the crazy fact we promised at the start. So, here it is. As a young, determined boxer, he abstained from sex for 5 years to become a world champion, believing that having sex would make him a vulnerable fighter. Well, that was all for today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon too. Also, share your thoughts about this video in the comments down below. Till then, peace out.